Ladies and gents, boys and girls, am I excited? We've just got the final edit of our latest underwater video, and it is amazing, isn't it? The clarity that we've got, the shots that we've got of these massive fish feeding underwater.
It's blowing my mind.
The things that they're doing,
it's crazy.
It's unreal.
You know, like, we're so lucky that we've been to somewhere that is honestly so clear. And you can imagine when fish feed underwater, even though they kick it up a little bit, but we've got big fish, and I'm talking like proper big fish, feeding on our bait underwater. We catch them. I mean, it just shows you how they feed. And what you've got to remember, whenever you watch an underwater rob, it's not just that moment that you learn from. You're learning fish behaviour. You're learning things that you can then take away in your own fishing and build from. So obviously a lot of the time in our videos, we're doing coaching style. This is like fish coaching.
it is, yeah.
Like, they are coaching us, aren't they, how they feed.
It's incredible. Now, for those of you that haven't joined our YouTube channel, haven't joined the members section, haven't seen our underwaters that we've done in the past, these underwater videos that we shoot them in a fishing situation. We put the camera underwater, we feed in front of the camera, we fish in front of the camera.
Real time, isn't it?
Real time.
Yeah.
We take it in turns sitting on the box, and usually whoever's watching the camera doesn't really give anything away to the person on the box.
Right,
we let them go through the motions a little bit to see how they would react during a match fishing or just a normal fishing situation. So it's only later on in a session that we might start experimenting and trying things. We want to see what happens underwater when you're actually fishing, hooking fish, feeding fish, changing your rigs over, doing different things to your presentation. We want to see all that happening. So it's really eye-opening. Now, we've got in front of us here on a little screen the footage, some of the footage from our underwater, and we just want to talk through a few of the key details that we've learned from our latest session. Now, the session was on a gin clear canal, and we're targeting big fish, tench, bream, big perch. We're hoping for maybe a chub, maybe even a carp coming into the swim. And our first session, we fished pellets and corn because we know that they're brilliant baits for targeting big fish. And also
singling them out, aren't we?
Yeah,
singling out big fish.
Like corn, we've seen how bright it was. We'll talk about that in a second. But we think for all you commercial guys out there, pellets and corn, that's the bait. That's one of the baits you're using all the time. So even though we're on a natural style venue, fishing for bream and tench, you commercial guys can take something away from this for sure. So let's have a look through, Lee. And you tell me what your takings from the day.
Rob, this is one of my favourite clips, and it's right at the start. Like, obviously, you see here, the bait is in a pile on the bottom of the canal, right? Nicely spread out, and this bream just beelines. Look at him. He beelines straight in, like almost like I've seen the food, I want it. And look, it goes from absolute dead, like nothing at all, to World War III. And that was what was the first thing that really stood out to me. You know, like how a peg that was dead, nothing there, went from massively feeding in no time. Do you understand what I mean? There was no like, oh, I'm a little bit cagey. They went from no fish at all to literally going for the bait.
Because especially with bream, we see them sometimes as gentle feeders. They come in and they maybe have a little bit of a graze around an area, then they move off and then they come back. But this was like a gang of fish coming in like hooligans and just cleaning it out and going mental. And that's something else that we want to talk about. Competition. We needed competition, didn't we, to catch the fish, because
it was crazy.
If you only had one or two fish in your swim, you were struggling. And it was amazing how many times we thought we're guaranteed to catch a fish here. There's so many fish in the peg, and you just wouldn't get a bite unless there was enough fish there for competition.
You weren't even getting, I was like, are you getting any indications? Like, you talk about it here. Are you getting any indications? No. And like, think, got one. Like a bream, just out of nowhere.
And you're looking at the screen going,
how are you not getting indications?
You should be getting line bites all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, it's only like 3.5, 4 foot deep, like a typical commercial canal can be. And there's fish everywhere at all different depths. But what was really interesting was, even though they might see the bait, they would feed from the bait on the bottom, wouldn't they?
Yes,
those
they
big
would,
bream, they beeline down. They come down and they beeline down to the bottom. And you'll see in the footage the way that they respond to the feed at different times depending on how many different fish are there.
Yeah, just for you guys that don't know how to watch this footage in full, there's a join section on the YouTube page. So if you go to our YouTube page.
Yeah.
There's a join button there. You can join, you can watch it instantly there. There's videos there, loads of videos, and there's loads of other underwater videos as well. But also, we've got a website. It's www.anglingedge.co.uk. You can visit that website. You can also watch all the footage there as well. Just become a member via the website.
And don't forget, this is like about the 4th underwater we've done, is it? 5th underwater we've done?
We've
so
done...
there's different types of underwater
let's go through
fishes
it.
in there.
Method feeder for carp.
Yeah.
Beautiful video.
Yeah.
So clear. Pellet feeder for carp. We've done margin fishing for carp underwater. We've done...
We did the feeders.
Feeders, how feeders react underwater. We've done shallow fishing on a commercial.
Yeah, yeah.
We've also done...
the staining.
Stain for keeper canal, catching
that was
with
like
casters, bonus fish,
bonus fish like roach, perch, that sort of thing. Like fishing a little bit more refined.
Yeah, so we've
and
done
now big fish.
So now we've got 8 on the, 8 on there.
So if you join for nothing else, you'll get to watch all those different videos. The underwater, the stainy one, it changed my fishing. Like it has changed my fishing forever. And a few really good friends of ours have said the same thing. Like really appreciated the footage because it was like, oh. That's
I was
thrown my mind open.
I was with Matt Godfrey the other day.
Yeah.
Matt Godfrey, England whiz kid, amazing angler, and he was talking to me specifically about the Stainful Keeper underwater because he fishes the venue, and he said that literally changed the way he approached his fishing on that. And if we can influence a future world champion, that's good enough for me. I think it's fantastic.
Absolutely. So you can see on this footage here, like I said, with little clips for you guys. This was an actual replay of when you caught your first bream, Rob. Okay, and you can see the fish. How look, he just literally. It's not just on the bait. Have you noticed that? It's not just on the bait. It's in and around the bait. Now, a lot of people will often say, "I catch past my bait." Right. The evidence here tells me the fish aren't scared of the bait, but that pile of bait.
It's bedlam.
They're all around it. So that past your bait thing, I would say maybe it's because the bait's on its own. And it gets picked out quicker.
And it's a lot cleaner. Do you think it's a lot cleaner?
Yeah, because look, this one here, he's miles from where you pop the bait in, but he's trying to feed on bits that are being kicked up. Look how much, look, that piece of corn that's being kicked up there. So, this footage is showing me that the bream come in such numbers that almost trying to pick them off as well could be really beneficial. How I manage the peg and how I manage the bait is really important. Now, one other thing I want to touch on for the guys, again, there is an hour's worth of this footage before we even...
Look at this one coming into...
what a shot. Unbelievable. So, there's an hour's worth of this footage with the big fish, with the pellet and corn, but also we then tried changing it up. We fed some worms and casters. It was a different time of the day, different types of fish come into the peg, and you get to watch that as well. So that's almost like a bonus. For us, that was like, let's get a bit of bonus footage for you guys. That's 50 minutes long. So there's like nearly, it's an hour and 10 and 50 minutes. You've got 2 hours of underwater footage to learn about how fish behave to different baits, where they come in. And this is one of the things I wanted to sort of conclude on, Rob, the chopping up. That was a thing for me where I was
feeding is... Yeah, it's the key to fishing, isn't it? Because we changed presentations a lot. We messed around with different line diameters and different ways of laying the rig in. The feeding, ultimately... Is what got the fish there and what caught you the fish. Yeah. And especially when you're fishing with the worms and casters that you had to maybe feed a little bit more regular, it was massively important. We went from a devoid peg and we're targeting, other fish, roach, perch, an odd tench, an odd bream, that sort of fish that you associate with worms and casters. We went from a devoid peg to a peg that was active, fishing the peg. I'm not saying they were easy to catch, even though we were fishing for perch. We always associate perch with, they're easy to catch. A lot of people's first fish was a perch because we always think of them as a little bit suicidal. But we had a peg full of perch, and they were not easy to catch. We got them in the swim, but oh my word, they were hard to catch.
I mean, here's a great example though, Rob. This is when you top up, and there's a bream actually feeding the swim as you top up, and he almost like, I want to say he's not spooked by it. But he's like, okay, there's some more food coming down here, and it sort of throws him off. And then within 2 minutes, he's beeline back round again, back for the food. Now, it's very noticeable that the bream, they come in and they sort of like have 3 or 4 chomps and then pick themselves back up again.
Yeah. It's like they fill the throat up with bait and then they go away to chew it, isn't
it? When we saw other species, because we get some tension in this footage as well, they're different. They literally don't give up. It's like you're trying to suck the life out of the bottom. It's unbelievable.
When we had the tension in the swim, they're like, digging, aren't they?
Yeah,
They've got their heads properly in the bottom.
Which is why you can imagine your tench bites are often like whoosh under with them sucking it in and then swimming away. And a bream, it'll nick down, nick the bait and come up, which is why you get those lifts on the float.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's loads of different things. You can see the behaviour. We're 30 seconds after the top up. There's a £5 bream in your peg, Rob, trying to eat the bait. So, look, this video is incredible. You've seen from a bit of the clips there what you can expect. Go and join, watch this video. It will change your fishing without a doubt, won't it?
We learnt loads, and I think that you guys will learn loads too.